What's up, everybody? How are you? Welcome to this segment of Real Talk Chronicles. It's Wednesday. Can you believe it? November. Wow, time is flying. Uh, I just remember we were just talking about what we were doing for the summer. You know what I'm saying? And now we're here in November, and life is moving. It's not slowing down for anybody. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. I'm Bill Forster. Got my man in the building today, Kevin Branzetti. It's good to see him. Haven't seen him in a while. Kev, what's going on, bro?
Good evening, Bill. Yeah, it got warm out, so I came out again.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good thing, brother. It's a good thing.
I think I hide in the cold weather or something.
Listen, I ain't mad at you. I know you stay up in them hills and them mountains. What?
True.
Yeah, let me run down some of the sponsors real quick. Soft Illusions Art Gallery, Reggie Wells Quality Speakers, Daily Arts of Survival Magazine, still #1 magazine, martial arts on Amazon, Ingram Taxes, you still need that. What's up, Vivian? What's up, Rochelle? How are you? Stefania, yeah, Uncle Kevin is in the building. I tell him he got to go to YouTube, and that way he can see what we're talking about. And just appreciate you all for chiming in. Reggie Wells Quality Speakers. I think if I mentioned that, if I didn't, I'm mentioning it now. So much to talk about, not so much time, but we're going to chop it up as best we can. Kev, what have you been up to, man? I know you've been kind of busy.
As you can hear my tea kettle screaming in the background, I'll be right
back. Look at your tea, and I'll take care of it from there.
What have you been up to, man? I know you've been kind of busy.
Everybody, we appreciate you. Thank you all for chiming in with us. We are rocking and rolling tonight. We're going to talk about, of course, crime. We're going to talk about these elections. These elections are very important. Are you swaying to the red, to the blue? What's going to be a deciding factor? A person in Rikers, another inmate, I think that's 18 for the year. We got Richard Williams coming in too, everybody. Oh, we're going to have a full house tonight, maybe, hopefully. What's up, Rich?
What's good?
So I'm just running down what we're going to talk about tonight. I want to talk about Elon Musk buying Twitter. Over 500% the N-word was used on Twitter because he's about free speech. What do you feel about that? Also, there was an inmate, the 18th inmate killed in Rikers Island this year. How do we stop that? Maybe next week. Also, I mentioned the elections coming up. How do you feel about the elections? What's going to persuade you left and right? Transit. They're thinking about doing private security in transit. A little bit too late. What's your thoughts on that? Anything else you want to talk about? I want to talk about with you. Stefania says crime is the deciding factor for you. I totally get it. It's a deciding factor for a lot of people. In New York, we have Governor Hochul, and I forgot what's the name? Lee.
Yeah, Lee Zeldin or Led Zeppelin.
Lee Zeldin. My bad. Like I always tell people, your fault, my mistake.
That's not a terrible one.
And, so he's a hot mess, and to some, I'm sure Hochul is no better. So, what's your thoughts? How your feelings out there, everybody? If there's something else that you want to talk about, please enlighten us. Let us know. We'll discuss anything. We're gonna be on a strong. Yankees had a chance, they didn't do it. The Islanders and Rangers have started the season. Kevin, I know you're happy about that. I know you hate the Rangers. So the Knicks, Nets, there's a whole bunch of things. Mets, I haven't seen Kevin in a long time, man. I miss him. There's so much to talk about.
It has been a while.
Yeah. I know. How's what you've been doing, taking care of, Kevin? I know that's very important to you.
It's been busy. It's busy for me, right? This is new. It's doing what I like to do in life with helping, but it's also trying to run a business, start a business.
So right.
That's a different thing in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Real Talk, we're here to support you in anything we can do and help you all the time. So, Kev, let me ask you a question.
There's the comments.
Yeah,
I've been trying to find the comments on YouTube.
Yeah, there you go. All you got to do is pop it in. This election coming up, we know you got Oz, Fetterman, you got Atlanta, you got a lot going on all over.
Mm-hmm.
Herschel Walker, Walcott. We got New York. Before I ask you, well, my main question to you, and then Rich, because Rich is in the building, he's in the cut. What will be some of the deciding factors for your vote? Whether it's blue, red, it doesn't make a difference right now. I think nobody really cares unless you care about something else. But what will be some of your deciding factors on how you will vote?
Well, yeah, we texted a little bit about this like a week or so ago. I have a real easy opinion of this.
Yeah.
You can't have one party running everything. And it doesn't matter which side it is. So New York City, New York State, and the federal government, the executive's a Democrat and the legislators are Democrats. And you got to have something mixing it up. You can't have it. It doesn't work well if they were all Republicans either. I might like it better if they were all Republicans, but I don't think it ever works well unless you have it's a Democrat Congress and a Republican president or vice versa. Same thing with New York City and the governor's office. You got to have a mixture. It's the only way you get people talking and trying to compromise and figure things out. Most of us are in the middle. We're a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, but most of us we're somewhere in the middle. We're not crazy left wing. We're not crazy right wing.
Right.
But it's hard to get that without a mixture. So I am definitely looking for some, wipeouts in this. And a change. Now I can go into crime has gotten completely out of control. Inflation is as bad as we've seen in my adult years. Right, like the last time inflation was like this was the 70s. Right. So change is here. What kills the Republicans is abortion. Right? Like that's the big. I can't put on my TV without seeing an ad. Every commercial break for a politician and an abortion is coming up. I think this would have been a complete Republican wipeout, but that issue may change everything.
Yeah.
I don't know where it'll go. I don't know. Stefania said, crime is the big deciding factor, and it should be if you're in New York City.
Yeah.
All right. I would not.
Yeah, Rich, what's your thoughts, Rich? What's going to be your deciding factors on how you vote?
Is Rich there?
Yeah, Rich is driving.
Crime is a deciding factor for me too.
So you vote Republican, Rich?
Republican? What's that got to do with that?
Well, then who's your crime? When you say crime's the deciding factor, what race are you in?
Well, the truth is, neither one of them would be able to solve that problem, no matter who you pick. I mean, what's the cause of crime?
You.
I mean, ask yourself that question.
Yeah.
You said me?
Yeah.
That's what most white people say. That's what white people feel. Like get rid of them people with color, and there'll be no crime.
Oh, there you are. Hey, Rich.
There he is.
Good evening.
I guess there's always going to be crime. Because I'm always be black.
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
Hey, but you know what? When you said that there needs to be some kind of mixture in diversity and who's running government, like it can't just all be Republican and it just can't all be Democrat. It's never been all that. To my recollection, there's always been some other controlling, whether it's the House, the Senate, and the presidency. It was never always all Republican or all Democrat.
It is today.
And I think no, it's not. I think what needs to happen is that there needs to be all Republican or all Democrat or all whatever party, and let that party take the blame for all they shit.
Right,
because
now,
everybody blames the Republican, and then the Republicans blame the Democrats for stopping this. If you had control for those 4 years in all of those seats, right, then it's gotta be all you. You can't blame it on nobody else.
Exactly. That's what we have today, my friend. It's all
okay. Tell that shit to Mitch McConnell. Tell it to Mitch McConnell and the rest of them that's blocking shit.
I'm sorry, my friend. They're the majority in Congress and in Senate, and they have the White House.
Nah.
Yeah, that's fact. I mean, it's not. You can't just say it's not true. The numbers, it's there. They have it.
Okay, so let me ask you something. Who reversed Roe versus Wade? Who reversed that shit?
There's that third section of government, the judicial.
A bunch of motherfucking Republicans.
Supreme Court.
Right? Yeah, Republicans.
And Rich, I don't like the Supreme Court
either. And
it
was put in place by Republicans.
Yeah.
All right.
But yes, that's a different thing then.
So but that's who planted that seed.
100%.
All right.
100%. Agree.
So they the ones that planted it. So, I mean, they still in control of certain shit. They ain't in total, they not totally out of everything. I mean, like I said, if you put one of the parties in total control, they have nobody to blame when shit goes fucked up. So they're going to have to do the right thing. Yeah. And still everybody's not going to like it.
True.
So it doesn't make a difference.
Like Mark said, I'm sorry, let me just interject for a second, Rich. Like Mark said, basically bipartisanship is what's used to be. Now it's some Trump BS party. Mark said, Kev, I see some things haven't changed. Vivian said crime for me as well. Guns. Stefania said crime is the deciding factor for herself. Absolutely. Go ahead, Rich. Continue. I'm sorry.
I mean, listen, man, you got people that are out here that for the most part, I mean, everybody's got a choice, but when you start creating an environment where you can't win, people get desperate.
I don't understand that. What's the environment you can't win?
What's the environment?
That you can't win. You said.
I said it before. There's money in chaos. The people that are in power create the chaos. They create both narratives. They cause it, and then they want to be the ones to solve it. But in the middle of all of that, the rich get richer. I don't give a fuck whether it's a recession, a depression. Rich people keep getting rich. And the only people that feel it are the people in the bottom.
I completely agree, Rich.
And as long as they are able to control that, it ain't going to change.
Yeah.
Then I'll be pointing at you. You'll be pointing at me when the shit is above our heads.
Yeah. Yeah. Rich, for the most part, I believe that. I look at who's running on.
Hey, you're a stats man, Kevin, right? You're a stats man. Yep. When it comes to people on public assistance, right? What's the ratio of people of color to Caucasian people?
I'd have to go
people
look
that
it up.
are on public assistance.
I don't know that every stat off the top of my head. I'd have to go look it up.
But do me a favor. You're a stat man. Just look it up real quick. And by the end of the show, I bet you have an answer for me. But those statistics, when it comes to that, people of color are at the bottom of that. There are more people, Caucasian people, that are on public assistance than people of color. But every time they talk about it on the news or anywhere, they show pictures of people of color. They show people living in the projects. They show all of those people, and it gives the subliminal message to all of the poor white people that are in this country that it's people of color that are sucking up all the resources. And that causes friction between the two.
So a quick Google, and this may not be correct, like this is not my thing, says receiving benefits 37% white, 26% black, 16% Hispanic. So while there are more white, I'll say this though, then it's the percentage of black is higher.
Then white?
You're 19, black is 19% of the population. And if it's 19% of the population and it's 26% of who's on it, that's a higher, you understand what I mean?
And
straight
that's
up
a
numbers.
Google search.
Yeah, listen, straight up numbers, there's more white than black, but the percentage of black is higher than the percentage of white.
Well, I mean, when you look at the percentage of wealthy people.
Yeah. I ain't down. Look, Rich, the problem has always been poverty, poverty, and poverty.
Yeah.
And we don't, I have not seen a politician run on a platform where I think they have a plan, whether it's the mayor, the governor, the president, to help people with poverty. I don't see anybody with that. When we've talked about it a few times on this show.
What do you think would work? What do you think would work?
There's a lot of things. Like anything else, it's not a one-pronged thing, but your number one is education. Right, New York City. Perfect. You spent your whole life in Harlem. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You're a New York City man your whole life. Where are the best public schools in New York City? What neighborhoods have the best public schools? I'll even go better. The wealthy neighborhoods. Right? The best public schools. The worst public schools are in poor neighborhoods. We have that ass backwards. It should be the complete opposite.
And that's even public schools. Not even when it comes down to public schools.
I'm not talking about private. That's our government, our mayor, and for New York City, we can blame the mayor, one after the other. It's not this mayor. It's this mayor, the previous mayor, the previous mayor, the previous mayor. None of them.
No, but you know what happens, Kevin?
To make those better.
Rich people will adopt a public school because their kids go to it. And we'll dress it up like a private school.
Yeah.
Just like these parks, like Central Park. Central Park is a conservatory, right? So they get private funds that go to Central Park to do all of the great shit that happens in Central Park, right? The same thing over across the bridge at Dumbo. If you go to those parks, they're totally different, and how they're kept up. How they're also policed with Parks Police. They got more Parks Police in Dumbo and Central Park. And if you go to the regular parks in, say, Harlem, you go to over here 155th Street, there are no Park Police.
I'm completely agreeing.
And the reason is because private companies and businesses give money to these conservatories.
No matter what side of the fence the politician sits on, their money comes from rich people.
Yeah, but if somebody gives money, billions or millions of dollars to the parks, you can't just say, okay, I'm just going to give it to this one park because that's the park they like.
Well, you can. It's your money.
But it shouldn't have to be, it shouldn't be allowed by the city because all of the parks belong to the city, right? It's like children. You have children, Kevin, right?
Uh-huh.
So how many kids you got?
4.
4 kids. So I come in your house and I say, you know what? I'm going to take care of everybody, nobody in this house except for this kid. And I'm going to give this kid everything so this kid will be shining better than the rest of the kids in that house. Would you allow that?
I'd have to figure that out. Now, if you gave everything to 3 of my kids and I could put all my assets,
one
let me finish. Oh, one.
And I told you only that one can have it.
And then I have more money to give to my rest of my kids. That may work out. Or I may tell you to go scratch.
Is that me or you? I didn't hear you, Kev.
Whatever it is, it was you.
Yeah, I figured that. But what I'm saying to you, Kevin, if somebody came and they wanted to give all of this to just one of your kids and told you that you couldn't share it with the rest of them, would you allow it?
It's a maybe question. Probably not, but maybe. I might.
Really?
If that means one of my kids has the benefit of more finances, better schooling, and then
No, let me change it. No, I don't mean that.
Money.
What I mean is,
leaves me more money for my other three kids.
Kevin, what I mean is, if I came to your house and each one of your kids have their own room, and I say, I'm going to go into this kid's room, put flat screen TVs, PlayStations, whatever, a jacuzzi, hot tub, whatever in that room, and lace it and tell you that nobody else can go in that room or use none of that shit except that one kid.
It wouldn't happen.
That's what they're doing with these parks.
Rich, like I said, I'm with you on what we spend money. Look, if a private donor wants to give $1 billion to Central Park, I don't care. The city should then do other stuff to other parks. Can they try to force that person to give some others? Yeah. Can they incentivize people to give to other places? And I've talked about it on this show. We can incentivize people to help with a school in Harlem. Does New York City have enough billionaires? Right?
Hell yeah.
Right. So how about Bloomberg buys one high school? Jay-Z buys a high school. They name it $25 million. The school is now named after them. It's theirs. But that school got $25 million. Right. Well, there's ways of financing this without breaking the city.
And it sounds like you could be a good mayor.
Yeah.
Because you make it sound real simple.
And what's so funny? With that being
Sometimes
said,
it is.
With that being said, I'm gonna read a statement and a question. I think Mark was asking you, Kevin. He said, "How is that?" I think he's talking about what you were reading about the stats on welfare that Rich asked you about. He said, "How is that? How is that so? When supposedly there's more white folks than blacks?"
There are physically more white people on welfare. Blacks. I said yes. The numbers. There are more white people than blacks on welfare. What I said was the other part of it is percentage. The percent of white people on welfare, the percent of black people on welfare, the percent of black is higher.
Okay.
Because our population is only 19% black.
And also he said also, guys, both sides both sides have some extreme crazies, but the right side can't seem to control theirs. Exactly. So let me ask you guys a question, since we were talking about mayors, how things would do it. Kev, and I'll start with you, Kevin, and then I'll go to you, Rich. How do you think the mayor is doing so far in his tenure so far?
Okay. Right. I think he's a rookie. So there's a little bit of a learning curve.
Okay.
He says all the right things. I think politically he is a moderate person who wants the best things. Mm-hmm. Right. He's not afraid to call somebody out on the left or the right. Mm-hmm. And I respect that. I like that. You need to. I think he's been soft on some people on, the crime rate is not his fault. Right? I don't think crime is his fault. No. You can't have NYPD arresting people if nobody's going to prosecute them. I arrest you for shoplifting and the DA's office says we don't prosecute that anymore. Well, mm-hmm. Shoplifting's legal. Right? I think he's been soft on the prosecutor's offices, though. I don't think he's gone strong enough against them.
Right. Okay, Rich, what's your thought?
Listen, I may not like what Kevin said. I may not like the fact that the district attorney and them aren't appear to be doing their job, their end of it. But it's not a cop's job to worry about whether they get prosecuted or not. Your job is to make the arrest, and that's where your walk ends.
No, I can't. I cannot arrest somebody. So here's what's going on.
If you're supposed to uphold a law that says if this happens, you make an arrest, and you do it, that's where your job ends.
So here's what's gone on, right? We'll use petty larceny.
I mean,
right?
am I right or am I wrong? Am I right or am I wrong?
Let me explain.
Go ahead.
While you chow down.
Mm-hmm.
When you have things like petty larceny, so if somebody walks into Rite Aid, they steal $400 worth of stuff, pack up their bag, walk out the door, the cop arrests them. Go to the DA's office and say, "Here's, we got this guy. It's crystal clear, right? He's got the bag of $400 worth of stuff. He didn't pay. It's not a very complicated case." The DA's office says, "We don't prosecute that anymore." That guy goes free. That guy, in turn, then sues the city for false arrest. Right? Yeah, this is what's gone on in our city.
Wait, back up. I want you. He arrests the person.
I arrest. So
I don't,
Dwayne
Kevin, I don't know where
Reed,
you get that shit from.
It's the city of New York, my friend. Dwayne Reed calls up and says, "Somebody stole from us. Can you take him?" NYPD comes, arrests the guy, $400 worth of stuff.
Right.
The DA's office says, "We do." This is their policy. They don't prosecute for under 1,000.
Really?
It. Yeah.
So it has to be,
but you can get arrested though. But you can get arrested though.
But Richard, if as the cop, the police department, if they're not going to prosecute you, we're stuck with. We're arresting somebody who is now suing the city afterwards for false arrests.
Why is he suing the city?
Because they decline
even if they sue Kevin,
anytime somebody declines
the city,
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Kevin, even if they sue the city, are they suing Kevin? Are they suing Kevin or are they suing the city?
Well, I'll go with my record then. That my arrest record shows I have numerous declined prosecutions. Now, Bill will tell you those were looked down upon. Right? We did not. You couldn't have in your arrest record as a cop. I had 10 declined prosecutions this year. If you had 10 declined prosecutions, you're a problem.
Yeah,
you're falsely arresting people.
Exactly, that's true.
You're in trouble. So yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're not supposed to arrest nobody for it.
How could we? That it's not. Listen, the cops in the end. You have to remember something with cops. They don't make decisions on what's going to be arrested, what's not. That comes out of executives. That comes out of politicians. Politicians run New York City. I don't care if it's this mayor, the previous mayor, the ones before. Politicians make the decision. You know, when we started going after people for minor offenses, that was politicians. No cop came to the NYPD and said, "I can't stand the fact that people buy untaxed cigarettes and we're going to lock people up for that." Right? Like no cop was in the academy drooling to get out there for that. We wanted to catch people with guns. We think we're going to catch. Every cop thinks they're going to catch a rapist in their career. Like you'll never see one in your career. That's what you think of.
Yeah,
cops, all that minor stuff. We're told.
That's where the erection comes from. The rapists, the guns, the serial killers. That and unbeknown to us, when we're on patrol, that shit doesn't even come our way. You know what I'm trying to say? So You're right there.
Yeah, but I'm trying to understand what you mean when you say the law says that if you commit this crime and you as a cop follow the law and arrest the person and you turn them in, you're done with it. But what you're telling me is that you're going to get in trouble for making an arrest because the law says that you're supposed to arrest them.
Yep. Welcome to New York City, my friend. This is
I don't believe that, Kevin.
Okay.
I don't believe that.
Well,
I don't believe that.
I can't help you if you're going to just say you don't believe
it.
This is what's going on in our city.
That's not true.
Rich, talk to cops. What's
happening is you getting caught up in what's not your job. And your job is not to be a prosecutor. Your job is to make an arrest. That's it.
All right.
But you get caught up in the after I make the arrest, you let him go. So I'm feeling some kind of way. And maybe rightfully so. But legally, your job is to make the arrest. That's it. Not to become the judge, jury, not to become the judge, jury, and executioner.
Well, and then I will tell you, because this has happened this way, because the city is getting sued, the city gets
sued because they're the ones that made the screwed up rules.
Exactly. But then that word comes down.
But it's not coming out of the cop's pocket. It's coming out of the city's pocket.
But then the cops are told, those are done. We're no longer making those arrests. If the DA's office,
then you don't make them.
Then we don't make them.
Then you don't make them.
They're being told by their bosses, we're done with this.
Okay, but that's an executive decision by a higher ranking officer in the NYPD.
Mm-hmm.
So they're playing politics with their officers.
They're playing politics. Maybe yes, sure, we'll call it that.
Yeah, they're playing politics with you because they. I mean, you can't really say that your job is to prosecute someone after you arrest them. Your job is to make the arrest, and that's it.
My job is to make a legal arrest that will be prosecuted.
Exactly.
That will be prosecuted.
And if you are making that arrest based on the law, then you good. But if you're crossing that line, then there's a problem. Because historically, cops would, and I'm not saying all cops, but there were a lot of cops that would violate the law and fabricate false evidence and work along prosecutors that wanted to get these people locked up. So their reputation looks good.
Yeah, that's happened.
Case in point, the exonerated 5. There was a lot of that shit going on.
Well, you know,
and again, that's not all of y'all, but there's those that did it that made it bad for all of y'all.
I will never disagree with that, Rich. I don't like bad police. I don't like bad police work.
But that happens when you start stepping over your line of just being the person that makes the arrest, gathers the evidence, and turns it in. That's it.
Yeah, I agree.
But when you come vested in wanting to make sure that this person goes to jail because you feel they should, that's the problem.
I don't disagree with you, my friend. What are we eating, by the way? Kind of rude.
This is grilled salmon, candied yams, steamed cabbage.
Oh, you're eating good, brother. There you
nice.
go. So
hey, listen, Brenda dropped this off to me before.
Let me just say this.
Yeah, Bo.
Colin says hello, fellas. He says, welcome back, Kev. Mark also said, I think he was talking in reference to about Queens. My man Eddie said about Richard's opinion. He said donations are made by the super rich and powerful, and nobody can tell them where or to whom to donate their money. Like nobody can tell me where to donate my money. Yeah, exactly. Eddie says, great to see Kevin back. Yeah, so let me ask you guys this question. I'm just going to mute you for a second, Rich, so I can make my statement.
Is that Rich's stomach we're hearing?
So you know, both of you guys make good, valid points in regards to law enforcement. Kevin, you may have some more inside intel than we may do. We both may know. Like you said, he may be soft on my boy Al. I think, and this leads back to voting and who you're going to vote for, because I think right now everybody, like criminals, I've talked to hardened criminals, and they don't like the streets. But, you know, and I've had hardened criminals tell me, like, yo, I'm not going to let anybody hurt me. Just like I would say, I'm not going to let anybody hurt me.
You hear street thugs use the phrase cops used a long time ago. I'd rather be tried tried by 12 than carried by 6.
Absolutely.
And street punks have the same attitude right now. They rather I don't blame them, right? It's you keep a gun to protect yourself because everybody else seems to have a gun, or you take the chance on protecting yourself or going to jail. And since it's hard to go to jail, I understand the choice. So
let me ask you a question. The debate, Hogel and the guy, what is his name? Zeldin. I apologize for not knowing his name. But there was a little back and forth. He wants to have an open carry in New York City. What do you think about that?
I want no part of an open carry in New York City. I you know, I can't see. I get the point. If people are going to have carry permits, you'd rather it's visible. I don't think big cities are meant for too many people carrying. I'm a hypocrite, right? Because I'm carrying myself, right? So I kind of feel a little bad about saying that, but
that's because you got yours.
Yeah, it's true. I'm not Rich. I said it. Like I admitted, I'm kind of a hypocrite.
So, Rich, what's your thought? Like, Zelen wants open carry.
Well, I told you I already applied for mine.
but not open carry. What I'm trying to say, I have no problems with people with concealed guns. Open carry. Listen, open carry. First, let me just say this. I'll chime in and say what my personal feeling is. The people that carry openly are not the ones that are committing the crimes.
Agree.
No,
people with permits aren't the ones with the crimes either.
The people with the permits are not the ones committing the crimes. They're more on the protection standpoint. It's the ones that don't that are not divulging this.
The question to me is how many. So let's pick a city, and somebody's got to do some research on it that has open carry, has everybody licensed people. How much crime does it actually prevent? So how many times does a licensed gun owner prevent a crime?
I doubt it. I doubt it.
I think statistically it's probably not much.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not worried about them committing crimes.
Listen, first and foremost, I would like to know, like you said, Kevin, in an open carry state, or even with a concealed carry permit state, how many people John Q. Publix or Jane Q. Publix are stopping crimes if they see them and happening? I don't see that. I don't know. I don't know that to be true.
I would rather just let's identify those who are committing crimes and put them in jail for a good chunk of time, and we can change our jails and things, along those lines. But
let me ask you a question. I'll start with you, Rich. Do you think that they used to? I think it's still a law, like 1 year mandatory, supposedly, if you get caught with a gun. Do you think they should toughen the crimes? I mean, penalties for crimes. Would you like that?
Yeah, I think there should be stiff penalties for people that commit crimes with a gun. If you get caught carrying a gun, I remember there used to be you get a year, and I think there was something pertaining also with how many bullets you had in the gun, right? That you would get.
If it was defaced, I think it was defaced.
You're supposed to get a year, but the thing is, Rich. So if I catch you with a gun today, right? I arrest you with a gun. Mm-hmm. Most cases get pled out, and what you plea out to is attempted possession of a gun. So then they can give you probation.
Yeah,
that's what actually happens with it. So the mandatory 1 year doesn't happen.
Are plea deals made?
I mean, that's just the way our system works, Rich.
No, I'm just asking you, what's the benefit of a plea? Just like the benefit of turning in a weapon and getting paid $200 for it, and whatever crime was committed with that gun, you don't get charged with it.
Well, let me just say this, Rich.
That shit makes no sense.
Let me just say this. I think we all laugh about the term the shyster, and we all laugh about the DA's office, right? Most of these DAs, they're fresh, they're brand spanking new, and they got a desk full of cases. Kevin can contest to this. You go to a DA's office, and even if you're the complainant, John Q. Public or Jane Q. Public, the DA got a stack of cases on his desk. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to get the person that committed the crime to take a plea deal, because what they're saying is they don't want to go to trial because they're trying to get rid of the cases. It's like doing paperwork, trying to get rid of it. So if I can get you to say, Rich, listen, I got you, you beat this man's ass. It's assault. he damn near is unconscious. He's in the hospital. But if I could get you for a misdemeanor, something, you take the plea. But because if you take it to trial and for this assault, you might get 3 to 5. If I could get it down to probation with mandatory, like what Kevin, like what 200 hours of what do they call it?
Anger management.
Anger management.
Yeah.
You take it a misdemeanor harassment. What are you going to do?
But that's not what I'm saying. I don't have a problem with a plea for a non-violent crime. Okay? So if you committed a non-violent crime, but I'm just saying, you got plenty of cases, and I believe there are more cases that aren't violent cases that are on the books.
I'm with you, Rich.
Plead those cases down. But don't plead down no fucking homicide.
But you can, again, I've seen it happen. I've seen trials are strange. Juries are strange folks sometimes. You can have what you think is a rock solid case against somebody and lose as the prosecutor in a trial. It happens.
That's true.
I had one trial, Rich, where the guy was convicted of possessing the gun that shot the guy, but they acquitted him of shooting the guy, which makes no sense to me. So they're saying Johnny had the gun that shot Bobby, but Johnny didn't do it. And I don't know how they came to that conclusion. Juries are
because that's something that's possible.
Well, it's not what happened. It wasn't possible.
But it's possible that somebody can have a weapon that they didn't actually use.
Convicted of him having the weapon at the crime scene
and move it.
Not afterwards. Convicted of him having the gun that shot the guy at the crime scene.
Okay, so if they were so close to that, they should be able to be close enough to see him actually do it.
It is. I have seen trials where we get a hung jury 11-1 in one favor, and then it gets retried and it's 12-0 the other favor. Juries are not a guarantee. They're not perfect, and some have prejudices both directions, right? In all directions.
Hey, listen.
Some don't like.
Listen, historically, black folks had crimes committed against us throughout history, and all the evidence had people say they did it and still walked out of the courthouse. 100%. So
yeah, 100%.
I mean,
so that's.
I mean, we victims of that shit more than anybody.
So but that's also part of the
all I'm saying to you is that, and it falls back to what I originally said. It's not your job to go past your job, because you in the courtroom now, casting your opinion about how that went.
So
I have to be. It's part of my job to follow it through to the end. I testify. No, they bring you in to say what you have to say. You get your ass up and you leave.
So
what they decide to do after that has nothing to do with Kevin.
It actually is a reflection on me.
And your opinion about what you think should have happened to this kid or that person, that's why they call it justice is blind.
Let me interject. Let me interject for a second, fellas. I totally get what both of you saying, but we're gonna have a real talk moment. I understand what Kevin says, because we feel like you do police work, you get the person, you lock them up, you want to see justice served. Rich, I totally agree, and you're totally right. It's not, once I lock them up, it's the system to make judge and jury the trial to go. They have a right. Hold on, Rich. Hold on,
Kevin.
Hold on, Kev. I'm sorry.
I know we're like twins.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that as an officer, you do feel a certain way. If somebody you arrest them and you did good police work and they get off, you're like, yo, I can't believe this shit, right? But Rich, you're to your point. It's my job to lock him up. What happens when he goes to the system? It's not my call. So everybody's both right on this. I will say that, because the bottom line is, Kevin, I get it. When we lock people up, we want them to go to jail. We really do. Like, We want him to go to jail.
100%. Well, there's some we feel sympathy for, but let me explain this way. How about this way? So when you have somebody years later who was found to be not guilty, who's been sitting in jail, in prison for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, it's not the cop's fault? The cops have no blame then?
Well, it depends. It depends.
They have no blame. Because it's not my responsibility after the arrest.
Wait a minute. You asked me a question. I'm going to give you an answer. Right? When cops go to that distance you're talking about and take that vested interest in making sure this person goes to jail, and you're willing to fabricate evidence or do things that are against the law to get a confession, or ignore other evidence because that doesn't mess with the evidence you want, that's the problem.
Let's not.
And so many times, but wait a minute. So many times those cops. No, it's intentional bad police work.
No. It ain't by.
It's not by mistake. But it's not by mistake. These guys are doing this to these people. They're not mistakenly planting evidence or mistakenly turning a blind eye. These cases that you're talking about that come up came from police officers that have violated the law to make an arrest. And these guys, most of them, just about all of them. I mean, tell me one that's not the case.
There are plenty out there, Rich. Plenty that were bad witnesses, false witnesses.
But these witnesses get coerced to say what they're saying because the officers have some other shit on them because they want this shit to happen. So they say, you need to get your ass up there and say this, or I'm coming for you. That's how that shit works.
Sometimes.
All right? That's how it works. So when you say to me that a person gets away with shit when they had concrete evidence and all of this, come on, man.
It absolutely happens. You've never seen a guilty person get acquitted?
I seen a whole bunch of white folks walk out from doing some real foul shit.
Yeah, exactly. So there are a lot of guilty people who get away with it. Usually guilty with money. It's kind of the best.
No, there's poor people got away with shit just because everybody in the fucking trial was in charge that they was related to. The judge was their cousin. The prosecutor was their uncle. Man, yo, man.
Too much TV this weekend.
No, I'm 62 years old and I was born in the South. And I watched a lot of shit that happened to me and family members and people that I just simply know. Historically.
Are you telling me you got away with something because your
historically, I got away with being black.
We have a problem, and we have a judicial system problem. We have a crime problem.
We got a judicial system that has failed.
Yeah, we have chaos in the streets. And I think, like I said, like Safania said, lock them up. Like, I think we all want to see people incarcerated. We want them to honestly see them do actual time and feel safe. Right now, I'm sure there are people out here that there isn't any more complainants. Somebody flying against you. They get right out the next day. What's the use of complaining?
You got rich.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What's the use of being a complainant if somebody is not going to do any time? Because right now they'll be right at your door in 10 hours. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's the sad thing. And that's why I asked the personal question and the pertinent question earlier, the elephant in the room. Who are you going to vote for? Where are you going with this? What makes the difference? Abortion, like, a lot of people, like Kev said, Stefania had said that last week too about reds. The red is going to sweep. I think, like, can you vote for a man? Can you vote for a woman who feels like it's so soft on crime that, she says, why, what basically what are you worried about with the crime? Like, why is that an issue kind of thing?
Yeah.
And then can you
a little delusional right now?
Yeah. And then can you vote for a man that actually said, oh, yo, he wanted to vote, he was part of the committee to vote to overturn the election because he felt Trump won and he felt it was kidnapped. So like I said, like I think there has been this is no time ever, more time than ever that we've seen people that are, like you said earlier, Kevin, in our text, that people are less qualified for these positions.
Yeah. It's the best of the worst.
Yeah.
And I felt this way since 2016. I think the 2016 presidential election to me was the real one, and I've been saying it since. We constantly vote for the best of the worst. We do not get the best of the best.
No, not anymore. I mean, listen, I think it's terrible that this is what we have to choose for. And let me tell you something, all around, like you got Herschel Walker talking about, you have women coming out talking about they've had 2 women come out that they've had 2 abortions by him. And then he's talking about he's not for pro-choice. And his son is ripping him a new asshole. You got Oz, you got talking about Fetterman. Listen, I've never seen just so many non-qualified people in this thing. And
just not good people. A couple of years ago, Bill, I early on this, I could probably find it. I played you an ad for a governor's race in Utah where the Republican and Democrat did an ad together saying, look, whether he wins or I win, we're in this together afterwards. We just want you to vote and pick the best of the 2 of us. And they talked together. I don't see a single person pushing unity, whether it's about politics, police, community, race, nothing. I don't see anybody pushing unity. And the second somebody runs on that platform, I think they'll wipe the freaking field with it.
Yo, listen, the only thing people are pushing is the LGBT community stuff. Let me tell you something. I seen more commercials on fucking TV about using this medicine. I got men kissing people and all kind of shit. And listen, I'm not against anything gay or the gay community, but I'm just saying, it's like if you get them in your corner, you know what I'm trying to say? Like you're gonna win some votes. So it's almost like, and I use them as an example because it's almost like, say what I want to hear, and I'll vote for you. You understand? That's what I'm trying to say. So I don't know where to go. Like I said, it will be a game time decision. Like I said, I'm confused about a woman that talks about, what are you talking about crime now? What do you think about using private security in transit? Kev, Rich, we've never heard no shit like that. Yo, there was overtime. Like, yo, you just work in collars and arrest.
It's not rocket science, right? It's now actually probably proven fact that the guys, right, mostly, who commit crimes in transit don't pay. And when NYPD was locking up people for turnstile jumping is when the crime dropped down. Now, I will argue the other end of it. Our bad side of that is we were ruthless. And we were, you can have your monthly pass and it wasn't working, so you jumped the turnstile. You had it on you, and the cop would still lock you up. All right. We weren't smart with it. Yes.
Kev, how about stop people that jump the turnstile to see the question and frisk part of it? Okay, you just jumped the turnstile. So now let me search you and run something on you. And if all you did was jump the turnstile, here's a ticket. See you later.
I'm with you. It should be a ticket.
Not arrest them and throw them in a cell.
100%, my friend. We should be looking to get them a ticket. And even if they don't have ID, we're in this era of, I can have a handheld device, print you on the spot, give you your summons, and send you on your way.
Yeah.
Let me just say this, fellas. I think, for those that have experienced that, have tainted skin, I totally agree with you both on what you just said. The sad thing about that is that, Kevin, you know this, and Rich, you know this from a man of color, and Kevin, you know this from a law enforcement standpoint. People, and I'm not just blaming white officers, I'm just going to say officers, because black everybody has abused. Instead of like letting little Petey go because he jumped the train to ride the train with his friends instead of he has a bus pass. You wrote him a summons and you put a paperwork behind his name, or the man as his token got jammed, or his easy pass, or the woman that was trying to go into work and they didn't want to miss the train and they jumped whatever. You arrested them and you put them in jail and they had to go through the system because you didn't give them a DAT.
Yep,
it's a crazy thing. That's so. Kevin, it's just like we talked about stop, question, and frisk. It needs to come back. It was rumored that the mayor is trying to bring it back. I mean, listen, what happened about giving cops overtimes when the money came from the feds, I think, for transit and housing? Yo, they need to bring those kind of things, programs back and get the money, because the bottom line is, listen, what about first and foremost is visibility. Put officers back out there. Listen, nobody's making it, like you said, Kev, but it goes back to prosecution, because the mentality is if I arrest you and you come back out. But that's why we carry guns off duty too. You know what I'm saying?
The majority of the train things we're scared of, right? It's the deranged guy on the train, and we're seeing this often now, right? The deranged guy on the train either assaults somebody out of the blue or pushes them onto the track. Those guys didn't get on the train back in the day because they got locked up because they weren't paying. Like they're not. Those guys aren't paying. They're just slipping right into the system. Because of their status, they're half of them homeless, and they get put in the system because they don't have ID, they have no place to go, and so they weren't on the train. We need to keep them. If you don't pay, you don't belong, or we make the system free. I got no problem with that either.
Yeah, in my opinion, the system should be free, but the people that you're talking about, Kevin, those people do need services, and I remember when they just opened the gate. What was that place called? Raymore, some shit. I don't remember.
Creedmoor.
But Creedmoor.
Yeah.
They opened the gate and said, everybody get out of here.
Yep.
Right? So now there's no place really that they're treating people with these conditions. Right? Because just like everything else, people violated their code of conduct inside of these institutions and they let them out. They had lawsuits and all that shit.
Yep.
But if people do their job the way it's supposed to be done and provide the services that they're hired to give, that's where it is. You know, we keep blaming the fucking people that are victims of their conditions when you should be servicing them.
Yeah. If that was my child who was living homeless in the streets of New York because of their mental capacity, I would want the ability to have a judge help me lock them up. And put them in an institution that can help them. You're right. Creedmoor, when those places closed down, we're in a different era. Right? We're in the era where cameras are everywhere. You can reopen places like Creedmoor and put cameras everywhere. You can, monitor. You have to monitor people. You got to make sure.
And not only that, Kevin, they should up the pay for people in law enforcement so they don't have to work overtime.
Yep.
And hire more officers. Train them properly with the incentive to be able to climb the ladder, complete their education in certain fields that are related to their job.
Yep.
That can better service the community.
I agree.
In that capacity, as opposed to locking people up,
I'd rather give the cop 4 hours to sit at the PAL and hang out in overtime once a week.
Yeah.
That's real talk. That's real talk.
Yeah.
Like my man.
So why doesn't it look like that? And all of these rich people that are flooding money into a fucking park, flood some money into the NYPD.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Where's that shit at? You said Bloomberg should sponsor a school, and maybe some of these motherfuckers should sponsor a precinct.
Well, all you need is somebody who knows the mayor to make the mayor make this suggestion.
Yeah. Didn't you work with him?
We're pointing to the other guy in the crowd here.
Didn't you work with him?
Well, Well, the one thing is, Kevin and I, we all, as somebody could say, if we was blowing smoke up somebody's ass, which is a true statement, that we were all cops around the same time. That is a true statement. None of us officially worked with him in the precinct like Kevin and I worked with him. Yes, I definitely do know him. Can I get his ear? Yes, I can. Right now, I don't know where his ears are. I know he cares. You know what I'm saying? And I don't say that in a disrespectful manner. I don't know where his ears are. I don't. I know he cares. I know he wants safety. But listen, there are people that are talking about him and against him so much that I don't think he knows who to trust anymore.
Welcome to public service.
Yeah. Yo, I don't know a mayor that they didn't dog out. I mean, give me one
exactly
that they didn't dog. All right, that's the job. There's not one president, one governor. Once you go into politics, you can't please everybody. So somebody's going to dog you out. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but my point is, I get that.
It takes time to get used to it, though.
But my point is, let's talk about real solutions. You talking about all of these people that are talking about, oh, crime is out of hand. You know, the police are getting a bad shake. This mayor's fucking over the police. Okay, open up your fucking wallet with some of that Wall Street money and say, here, up the cops' pay, hire more cops, give them all the resources they need. They can fund transit. These motherfuckers, you got motherfuckers that's rich enough to end poverty in the world, right here in New York City.
Yo, let me tell you something. I had a conversation with somebody, and I said, we were talking about some certain things, and I said, listen, if people don't want me to sit at the table, I'm cool with that. I don't have a problem with that. But have somebody sitting at the table that's going to talk some real shit. You know what I'm trying to say? White, black, Spanish. I don't give a F who's at the table, but have somebody at the table. Go ahead. Kevin.
Most people who hit the point where they're in charge, it's very tough for them not to have a crowd of just yes men.
That's my point.
It is.
That's my point.
I want to throw something else at you in law enforcement. That's, so yeah, we're having trouble with keeping people in. Yeah, we're having trouble getting cops to lock them up. We're having trouble to prosecute them. We're also having trouble with technology. So there is a lot of politicians out there who are against law enforcement using things like the facial recognition. There's a ton of tools out there that make me better at my job, and I can find a guy better and I can prove it better. But there's misinformation going out there about, how they're used and what's used right, what's used wrong. Technology can make us better as cops, but they've been taking that away as well. They don't want cops using it.
And Kevin, let me just say this from an African American standpoint: people got deep scars from Stop, Question, and Frisk, from Emmett Till to anything, which is in lies a problem, because soon as somebody says something like yourself, and they see your skin tone, and you want to implement something that's really for the betterment of all, first thing a person will be like, nah, because I remember how this is going, this is how this goes. Yep. And I understand it. But sometimes that's the evolution and growth that we have to all take, because the bottom line is, like I said, I have been a victim of Stop, Question, and Frisk before I became a law enforcement. I was a victim of Stop, Question, and Frisk when I was in law enforcement. So I get it. The only thing that was the difference is I ate humble pie when I was John Q. Public. And when I was in law enforcement, I was like, yo, I'm on the job. Get the fuck off. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So my verbiage and my dialect was different, but I still was able to say, like, come on. Like, what are you doing?
You need to implement these things. So facial rec is one. I got to tell you, Bill and Rich, I'm going to hear your thoughts on facial rec because it's got a bad reputation. Yeah. But I'll tell you, the amount of cases I've been a part of across this country that we solved that were completely unsolvable, and we solved it in minutes. And these were children who were actively being raped and their videos sold. And the only thing that identified the kid or the perpetrator was facial rec, and we were able to save those kids. I give you dozens and dozens of cases. where it's happened. When we use technology, when we do a new plan in transit or something like that, the police department's got to have like a board of people that are trusted. Right? So like I wouldn't mind implementing facial rec and bringing Rich in once in a while and a team of other people and show them this is how it works. This is what it does. And here are the cases. Here are some of the cases we used it.
But you know what's so funny? Let me interject. It is so good, and I know Rich smiled on this, but it's so good that you mentioned that because that's the only way it will be implemented when you bring John Q Public and somebody in the community that has a voice that will co-sign it. Otherwise than that, if you just mention it on TV in front of a podium, it's not going to happen. Nobody's going to co-sign that shit, bro. It's really, I get what you're saying. And let me read what Eddie wrote, and then I want to ask you a question in regards to people, the law enforcement and civil servant people are getting their jobs back from the COVID aspect. I want your thoughts on that, and then we can close out. But that's a big thing. Firing all these people, civil servants, and now you're giving them their money back pay. The city's paying out their ass on that. Let me know your thoughts. Just think on that. Eddie said the general public doesn't understand that PD overtime, going to court instead of a plea bargain, ET, etc., costs money, and the taxpayer pays for it, not the city per se. You know you're right. So Rich, Kev, and I'll start with you, Kev, or Rich, whomever.
Well, Rich wanted to finish. He had a comment. I thought about because I was talking about the technology and letting people, even people like Rich, come in and look at it.
Yeah, but listen, I'm gonna tell you about technology, man. People of color have been victims of technology before technology you're talking about even came about. You know, remember back in the days when you had your house phone, before call waiting came on, right? Your phone just kept ringing. And then call waiting came into effect. And I'll never forget this. I called my aunt, and the phone just kept ringing. I mean, not kept ringing, but went beep, beep, beep. You know that busy signal? When somebody's on the phone, you get a busy
There's
signal.
A lot of people out there have never heard that signal, my friend.
Yeah, but back in the days, if somebody was on the phone, you got a busy signal. And then call waiting came out, where it would just ring and ring until somebody picked up. So I called my aunt, and this is like deep in call waiting when everybody had it and shit. I called my aunt, and the phone was just busy. So finally she picked up, and I said, I've been trying to reach you forever. She said, well, I've been in the house. I was on the phone. I said, you don't have call waiting? She said, yeah, I got call waiting. I said, you do? She said, yeah, you had to wait. You'll get the joke. All right, Bill.
I got the joke. Like,
Bill was reading a text. Don't let him fool you.
But listen.
Auntie was a humdinger with that one.
But listen, facial recognition has been in effect for Black people since day one. All you look like is black, so we recognize you, motherfucker, as being a criminal. So we always had facial recognition. That shit is for you guys, Kevin.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we fall under the category, if you're black, you coming in. You're coming in with us. And we'll figure this shit out later. Because we all look alike. Hey, Bill, is that Tony?
I do wish I worked still. Like one day I would definitely pull your ass over just to mess with you.
Hey, listen, I got relatives in law enforcement. They do it all the time. They pull up, whoop, 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 get against the car. I'm like, yeah, okay. Hey, Kevin, did you know I speak to the graduate classes, the new recruits that graduate? They have them at Riverside Church. Like I just spoke to a graduating class. I did it about 4 times.
Nice.
They asked me to come in and be a guest speaker to talk to the graduating class on how the community feels about policing and give them some tips on how to police the community. And
nice.
One of the main things I always say to them, I said, just imagine that you're policing your own family member. You know, you approach somebody the same way you would want somebody to approach your mother or approach your brother or approach your father or son or whatever. Approach them the same way you would want somebody to approach your loved ones.
I had that same conversation with somebody just recently myself, and I told him, I said, treat people like you want to be treated. I said, you're going to run across some vaginas and you're going to run across some penises, but it is what it is. But not everybody is that person. So the problem is. But let me ask you a question before we get out of here. What's your thoughts on the city overturning the COVID termination?
Yeah. Huh? I think they had to. Look, I got it. When the vaccine first came out, Bill, I was right. Said I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
And then got right up there, no question. I misunderstood the vaccine and thought it was an immunization. So once you get it, you're immune forever.
No.
Like polio.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. That's how we got rid of polio.
The government sold us a dream, and we bought it.
We bought into.
But polio was back though.
Yeah, polio is back for unvaccinated people. Like that's who got it, and they spread it around. But it's not. You and I can't catch it, right? But we got rid of it through that, and I thought this was that. This is the flu shot. You get it every year. I can carry COVID. I've gotten the vaccine. I've gotten one booster, and I'm going to get another one after a year. I'm going to get one every year. That's how I feel about it.
Right.
But I can still get it. I got it in June. I could give it to Rich happily. Be the first time I go visit him.
He said happily.
That's how all you Europeans feel. Motherfuckers brought syphilis here. Christopher Columbus brought syphilis here. Fucking sheep on the way over here. If he didn't want no women on the boat, he gonna fuck a sheep and get syphilis. You motherfuckers are the worst. Yeah. You give a fucking tribe a blanket of smallpox. Give a whole tribe some blankets with smallpox in it. Try to kill motherfuckers. That's how you motherfuckers get down, man.
I'll be right in.
Oh, go ahead. Finish that. Go ahead. So,
hey, who's that? Who's that? Somebody loves you, Kevin?
That was my little guy.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to have a box of blankets delivered to Richard.
Exactly.
Just a commemoration of him. No, seriously. So, with all that goofing off, said, now that I understand what the vaccine is, it's to protect me. I can still carry. I can still share. I don't care who gets the vaccine and who doesn't.
Right.
Doesn't matter to me. It doesn't. The vaccine protects me, and that's what I believe. I believe it'll give me a lesser case of COVID.
Yeah.
Do we really know for sure? No. In a decade or 2 decades, we'll finally have this figured out.
We'll figure this shit out. Right.
But it's I get the flu shot every year. Does it matter to me, Bill, if you get the flu shot and we work together? Not in the slightest.
Absolutely.
So that's what this is. We have to accept that's what this is. You get the vaccine, you don't. We're all in together. That's it.
Rich, what's your thoughts?
You know what? You got motherfuckers right now walking around with a mask on, not because they're scared of COVID, because they don't want you to see their face. All right? Yeah. So it's a whole ton of motherfuckers out here in the hood right now that don't believe in COVID, don't give a shit about COVID, but wear a mask so they can do their dirt.
Yeah,
we need
listen,
take this mask shit away.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Motherfuckers is walking around with these masks. Bring back the stop and frisk. Pat the motherfuckers down.
Yo, listen. I was in the store the other day. Dude had a mask.
Respectfully.
On.
Well, wait a minute. Respectfully.
Yeah. Yo, the dude had a mask on that covered all the way just up to his eyes, his head, and it was hot. Like, come on, dude. Like, yo, listen. I went straight into cop mode, street dude. Like I can't take my eye off him because you in the store, you wearing this hot ass shit, and you know, like, come on, you are the epitome of criminal. You know what I'm saying? Like you ooze it, and yeah, he was a black person, and I'm judging because the bottom line, did he do anything? No, but he left, and I watched him ride off on his bike. Because the bottom line is, I wanted to know where he was going. Because the problem is, the world is crazy out there. Yo, listen, everybody. It's Real Talk Chronicles. That's Richard Williams. That's Kevin Branzetti, my co-host. Subscribe to YouTube channel, share it, like it. We appreciate you. Fellas, is there anything else y'all wanted to talk about before we get out of here? Because the bottom line is we covered a lot of shit in a short period of time. Everybody see us next Wednesday. Remember elections. I don't know who you're voting for, but try to vote for somebody. Listen, I can't even lie to you and tell you I'm not torn. I don't know who to vote for, to be honest with you. I don't want to see somebody go in there and talk about I'm supporting Trump and I believe that the vote was elections. You know, I don't want to vote for somebody that doesn't act like she's oblivious to crime either. I don't want that. But I do want somebody that has an open mind. I want somebody. Listen, we need to get law and order back. We need public safety. Abortion, Roe v. Wade is very important. So I don't know what to tell you. I'm just telling you, do your due diligence, do your homework. You only have a few days left. You have, what maybe 5 days, maybe 6 days or something. You know,
6.
Yeah, so next Tuesday.
Yeah. I'm trying to make sure I reach out. I get some politicians on, and maybe we can talk about this and see what's going on for Monday and stuff like that. So Rich, give us some thoughts. Give us some closing comments after the positive affirmation, and then Kev, you can give it that, and then we can get out of here, fellas.
All right. Now, when it comes to politicians, there are only two things important to a politician. That's getting elected and getting reelected. We have to hold these people accountable for your vote. It doesn't make a difference who you vote for, right? You can say, oh, I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat, whatever the fuck you are, right? It's like you have a leak in your fucking bathroom, your toilet or your sink is leaking, and you want the best plumber, whether he's a fucking Republican or a Democrat. And you get whatever one you choose. But then that motherfucker goes in there after you hire him and you pay him, this fucking sink's still leaking. So you got to hold them accountable, no matter who you choose. If they promise to fix it, fix it. If they don't fix it, get rid of them. Because everybody says what you want them to hear, you know? But after you vote for them, then what? Because these motherfuckers will stand at the train station. They'll knock on your door. They'll send you letters in the mail. They'll do robocalling just to get their message out to vote for me. The next day, some shit pops off. You don't see them. You got to chase them down and say, yo, what happened? What happened? So all I'm saying to you is be afraid to go into your elected official's office and say, motherfucker, you work for me. Get your ass
just
to
like
work.
that. Say it just like that.
Like that.
And hold your crotch. And hold your
You
crotch.
told me to vote for you, motherfucker. You got my money. Where's my shit?
That's real talk. That's it.
Hey, I can't make it no plainer than that. I might get in trouble for this shit later, but fuck it. This is real talk.
That's it. Send them to me. I take all the smoke. I'm the buffer for you guys.
Hey, listen, I'm like Jerry Maguire. Hey, listen, I'm like Jerry Maguire. Show me the money.
Absolutely. Kev, your thoughts?
Yeah. Vote them all out. And just keep voting them all out. It's kind of my opinion. Until we finally get somebody in who does the right thing. Yeah, we keep re-electing bad politicians. Yeah. And we are voting for the best of the worst. Just keep voting them out. Vote them out.
No,
Rich is right. Go into their office and talk to them.
We elect them and then walk away from them. Vote them in and then give them a fucking job. Say, listen, motherfucker, you just got hired yesterday. You haven't done shit. Get your fucking ass to work.
Yep. And you unite people around you to do it as well. You got to go into that politician's office. You got to email their thing. You got every time you communicate with them, it matters. It matters because they look at it as if one complaint comes in, that's 100.
Yeah, you hold a fucking press conference. just like they do. You get all the fucking people in the neighborhood, call the news station and have a press conference, and the
Squeaky wheel
motherfuckers
gets
show
it.
up. That's right.
It works a lot of just look at New York City. It works in a lot of neighborhoods. Squeaky wheel gets it.
Yep.
Tuesday's gonna.
Sure, you're right.
With all that said, Tuesday's gonna come. Tuesday's gonna go.
That's
Sadly,
right.
not much will change.
Well, I'm sure we'll be here next Wednesday, and we'll have a lot to discuss about stuff what happened Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know?
Probably.
Good, bad, or indifferent. Good, bad, and indifferent. I mean,
you know, my thing is on the weekend. Then get out, do something, spend some time with your family. Don't spend the next 6 days looking at what these politicians are saying, who's doing this. I even laugh at people who are putting stuff in there. Like by me, they put it in their lawn, who they're voting. It doesn't change anybody's.
no, I don't give
right?
a
If your goal is to change somebody's opinion, then you got to talk to people.
Yeah.
The only way you can change opinion and you
Put
learn
these motherfuckers
is
to work.
talking.
Absolutely.
So that's what you got to do. Talk to your neighbor. Don't
It's
fight
called
with your neighbor.
oversight. It's called oversight, brother.
Yeah.
Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. That's Richard Williams. That's Kevin Branzetti. I'm Bill Forster. Subscribe to it, like it. See you Monday. See you Wednesday. Definitely, please get out and vote. Do your due diligence. Be careful. Watch your six. Pray. Believe in your higher power. Fellas, be careful. Rich, I know you out there in the mean streets. I'll see you
I'm
soon.
out here now.
You know, walk
Hey,
in the
listen.
street.
Let me say this one thing, man. This is the one show where you can come to where the blacks are the majority.
Yo, oh my God. Kev, here, I love you two banter. Let me tell you something. I love you two banter. It is definitely on and popping.
Hey, listen, don't get it fucked up. Don't get it fucked up. My man Kev is good white folk.
Yeah.
Oh, that ain't right.
He's hilarious.
Kev good white folk, man. So don't fuck with Kev because I'm fucking with him, all right?
Exactly. Like that's your Kevin. Ain't nobody else can fuck with
Yeah.
him.
Don't care fuck with my Kev, all right?
Yeah, exactly. Leave your Kevin alone and shit. Good night, everybody. I'll see y'all later.
Good night.
That's hilarious.